So for years now, I've been the tinfoil hat wearer guy, conspiracy theorists amongst family and friends. And, I've lost some acquaintances, almost lost some friendships over the years because of different views. And people can be quite staunch in their opinions about things, their belief structure. And if you challenge that, well, it can be quite upsetting for them, And I do understand that. And I try to work within the parameters where I'm not actually being disrespectful as much as possible. But when you challenge somebody's views, it's hard sometimes to not be disrespectful, or for them to perceive you as being respectful of their views, however you want to phrase that. So, but what I am seeing here lately, though, is Ravens again. What I am seeing here again, though, is here recently, is I'm being challenged a lot less often by people that used to challenge me. As a matter of fact, I'm getting a lot more of these people going, you know what you said, X number of years ago, or what you said here, or what you said there? You were right. And, if I go back into the early 2000s or the 90s or even the late 80s, I mean, more often than not, people were saying, well, you're an idiot. And now, more often than not, that's not what they're saying. They're saying the complete opposite. I'm just walking around my property looking for garbage that came down the river here. That's one of my favorite spots. It's a real pretty spot here, don't you think, folks? Beautiful, beautiful little spot, in the little fork in the river. Labby going up the side there. So, it's a good spot to come in and ponder. And so, now, as often as not, people are saying to me, you were onto something. And a lot of them are starting to spout a very similar, if not mirror, that exact, or a lot of these exact messages that I used to, well, they would say preach them. I don't really want to be a preacher per se, but, I'm sure to them it felt like I was preaching at times, though. I do empathize with that because, I've been preached to. And sometimes, I was happy for it, but not always. But, so more and more I'm running into people that, boy, you really knew what you were talking about. And that surprises me, I'm but I'm happy about it. It's wonderful that we're in a place where people are starting to open their eyes and go, is that really the way it should be? Or is that really the way it is? And they're starting to not blindly follow and listen to news outlets and politicians and all kinds of, white lab coat wearing people, you put on a white lab coat and all of a sudden you know everything, we can put a white coat on Forrest Gump. And not to pick on Forrest Gump because it was very entertaining, but the, science and politicians and newscasters have been lying to us for years. I mean, astronomical amount of lies. You can't even keep up with it. It's just absolutely horrible. And so, and finally, 9/11 woke up a lot of people, not right away, but after, and different wars and different things that have happened in Libya and, what have you, and, why are we attacking Iraq? People started to question things. And then COVID. And COVID has changed more people's minds in the group of people that I know, in my scope of influence and influencers of me, has changed more people's minds than anything else they could have ever done. And people are just, they're just calling bullshit. I mean, a lot of them didn't initially, but now they're just like, okay. And a lot of them, got the shots. I didn't, but they got the shots, and they don't feel well, or family members died. And now they're like, hey, we really got screwed here. And they did really get screwed. And so, and their lives have been over, just in turmoil since this happened to them, since since especially since the booster shot, you know. And just in our little circle here where we live, there's been a dozen, 10 or a dozen strokes in the last couple of years. So young people, several cases of myocarditis, just, and they're dead. So a lot of stroke victims survived, but the heart attack victims didn't. And it's sad. These are young people, 35, 45, 60 years old. They're not old. Cancers now are all stage 4. They're dead within a short period of time. And the overall general sense of malaise, can't use the bathroom right, my stomach is upset. Things that they never felt this way. And they felt that way right after this shot or that shot. And even still, some of these people are not feeling well. And there's a new shot, the fluke variant coming out, fluke, and the bird flu and some other nonsense. Chickens are sick, whatever, which is nonsense. It's all nonsense. And there's still people lining up for these shots. But more and more and more, the people are starting to realize, okay, you're not a conspiracy theorist. You are actually a source of good information. I'm hearing that more and more and more, and it does make me feel good. And they're becoming part of that same group, starting to espouse that same sentiment. They're starting to go, okay, well, instead of taking this for at face value what they're telling us to believe it's true, why don't we just question this a little bit? And some of the stuff is just absolute lunacy. You should question immediately, and other things you got to stop and think about it. It's not hard to imagine that a vaccine that was never tested would be dangerous. And it's not hard to imagine that pharmaceutical companies would be more concerned about profits than your health. It's not hard to imagine that somebody would want Mr. Trump shot. It's not hard to imagine that would be somebody in the government. It might not be, but it could be. Never say never. It's hard to connect all the dots all the time. It's hard to connect half the dots a lot of the times, never mind all of them. So, to all you people still sitting on the fence, there's some of you will never reach, and good luck to you. You're just citizens, and you'll get your vaccines, your flu shots, and if somebody walks off the cliff, you'll walk off right behind them. To all you sitting on the fence, jump on in, come on over, join us. The water is warm, it's comfortable here. And to those of you that have, been fitted for your new tinfoil hats, I hope you got a good size. I hope you're comfortable in your new skin, and welcome aboard. There's lots to question, and so there's nothing like sitting down and pondering something until you go, okay, well, does this make sense? And if you're a reasonable person who's has some common sense and some ability to think with clarity, a lot of times it's not hard to see the bullshit. And it's not, it looks like shit, and it smells like shit, and it tastes like shit. It's probably shit. And so just don't buy into their nonsense. Don't believe anything a politician tells you. The first job of a politician is to get elected. The second job of a politician is to get reelected. And 8th or 10th or 12th down the list is making a few of their constituents happy so they get reelected. You're way down the list. They're more worried about their pensions than they are you. And so you citizens, you keep believing in that. And the rest of you individual people, believe nothing you hear and only half you see. And with today's AI systems, you probably can't even believe half you see. I'll let you ponder that. Cheers.